Join our Wager Talk even before the game is played with our Wager Rewards program. How does it work? Simple. Earn Wager Rewards on every purchase made at Wager Talk and Sports Memo. Those Wager Rewards can be converted into Wager Bucks on the first of every month. There is no additional fee to participate, and no additional details are required outside your valid Wager Talk or Sports Memo membership. On the first of each month, 5% of your Wager Rewards will be converted to Wager Bucks, which are available to purchase on all future purchases. Doesn't it feel good to be part of a rewards program with no additional hoops?
Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. It is the last show of the week. I'm Lawrence Prez and Teddy covers, and you, my friends, are watching the best daily sports betting show on the planet. Teddy, what a show today. I mean, right when you think we had like an all-star team yesterday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, we're ending the week with the big guns. Dave Cokin coming on first. He's going to talk Boise State, UTEP, UNLV, Utah State, and the Commanders versus the Eagles. Ralph Michaels coming on. He's looking at Iowa and Rutgers, New Mexico State, Hawaii, Kansas, and Duke. And Kelly Stewart is ending the show today. She's got a look at the big Green Bay, Tampa Bay Buccaneers game and K-State. My brother, I want to just start by saying I was on the under in last night's football game. Now, I was mad. I was bummed. I thought it was done. I didn't think I would win. And then it held and it held and it held. And then that bloody 4th down and 1, they stopped him and he rolled in. And then I don't know why Tomlin didn't go for it, the 4th and 1, instead kicks the field goal. And then I felt so much better because if my under lost on that final play, I wouldn't be doing this show today, Teddy. What did we learn in the wonderful world of sports betting?
Sure. We have to talk about the outcome. The final 2 minutes of Steelers-Browns last night, Prez, you just brought up, because the outcome really wasn't in doubt. All right. Cleveland was going to win the game. So for your casual fan, the last 2 minutes, maybe there was some drama, but it wasn't riveting drama. It was an hour's worth of commercials and waits and delays and replays and all of that, and more timeouts. But it wasn't a game that the average fan is gonna be riveted to the end with. But as a bettor, the last 2 minutes, which took an hour, all of it was for gamblers. All of it, dude. All the drama. The Steelers get stopped on 3rd down. Will they go for it down 9? Huge for total bettors. As you mentioned, the game's sitting 23-14 on 37 with a total of 38.5. It's 4th and 6. No, they kick the field goal. The game goes over, but it doesn't, because the Browns' 3rd penalty of the night for 12 men on the field. And now it's 4th and 1. Or was it 4th and inches? I'm surprised Tomlin didn't get the measurement there. Decision time. Side and total in the balance. And he kicks the field goal again. And now the over cashes. And the Browns are going to cover unless Pittsburgh recovers the onside kick, which they don't. But Cleveland runs the first time. Pittsburgh calls the last time out. They run the second time, set up 3rd and short. They convert on 3rd down. Game's over. Okay, but it's not. Replay review. And we've seen 1,000 of them on spots. They never get overturned like that, but this one did. Now you got to worry about an intentional safety to kill the clock on the very last play. But there was some rule. I've been watching NFL forever. There's some rule where it goes back to the 50 seconds, and there's a 10-second runoff, and now the clock is ticking. The bottom line, 14 seconds left, and the Browns are going to punt. Pittsburgh pinned at the 4, and you knew it was coming. It felt like there was going to be some funny business, and there sure was. They chucked the ball around the final play, fumble, Browns get in the end zone. In-game bettors, teaser bettors, total bettors, side bettors, prop bettors. You know, that last reception was minus 6 yards. Claypool, I think it was. He went under because of it. And that is why the leagues have embraced gambling instead of fighting it like they did for so many decades, because anybody with a penny on that game watched right through the final gun. Your casual fans might have turned it off with the 2-minute warning. Prez?
Yeah, Teddy. Let's just bring Dave Cokin in. I got nothing to say about this game. I had a winning night, 2-1. Killing it in baseball right now. Dave Cokin, how are you, my friend? What's going on in your world?
I wasn't involved in the in any of the football games last night. I wish I was, because Coastal Carolina was an easy winner, and I should have had that one. But Georgia State was missing guys in the offensive line. I was stupid not to play that game. As far as the Browns Steelers goes, you got to go for it on 4th and 1.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to have to score twice, and that means recovering the onside kick, but you've still got almost no shot if you're down a touchdown. Even if you recover the onside kick, if you need a touchdown, you need a field goal. You only need one play, and then spike the ball, and you can kick a field goal. You've got to go for the first down on the 4th and 1. That's simple analytics. It drives me wild when coaches don't understand the most basic of analytics.
Yeah, and we're talking, Dave, about not any coach. I mean, we're talking about a coach who's never had a losing season, been in the league for, I think, 17 years.
He's a
Super Bowl
coach,
champion.
He's a Hall of Fame coach.
Yes, but that was not a Hall of Fame decision.
Yeah.
It was a Hall of Fame decision. He made the wrong decision. Look, I'm not going to get it. Fire Tom. One thing I've learned being in the business I'm in is just because somebody fucks up once, you don't just say, that's it, garbage, because I screw up every week. Hopefully I don't screw up as much as I don't screw up. But the fact is, you learn about making bad decisions when you're in the business I'm in, and you guys as well. So you're a little less likely to go down, fire that guy because he made one bad decision.
Yeah, I don't play that way. But guys, real quick, Manuel Rodriguez, $9.99 tip. Manny, thank you so much. As you guys know, we do donate these tips to charities, so thank you for that. Dave, let's get into it, man. I mean, we got so much to talk about today. We got to keep the show moving. Boise State -16. There is a 16.5, a few of them out there. They're playing UTEP. They're playing tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time. How do we bet this game?
UTEP is fitting the profile. This happens on a somewhat frequent basis. They're a team that had been absolute garbage forever. And last year everything went right for UTEP. They were pulling games out of their ears. They had by UTEP standards, a great season. And a lot of times when a program that's been a doormat for a long time has a breakout year, there's a regression the next year because they ain't that good. And I think we're seeing that in a big way with UTEP. Whatever went right last year is not going right this season. Are they as bad as they used to be? Probably not, but they're not very good. They are certainly not in the top 100. They're probably in that 110 to 120 range out of 130, which means they're really bad. I think Boise is going to whack them tonight. It didn't make my card because I got enough games already, but it's probably the next game, them and Tulsa, I would say, the two games that were next on the list for me. So if you're looking for action tonight, I think you just fade UTEP until they show some signs that are positive. They aren't right now. I would have to go with Boise here. It's not a play on Boise. It's a play against UTEP.
So we're looking at a situation where UTEP, they haven't covered a point spread this year. And Boise's kind of a name, I mean, this is in theory a get-right spot for a Boise team that hasn't lived up to expectations offensively all year, certainly. Defensively, they've been fine. Offensively, it's still very much a work in progress for the Broncos. But when you're playing a team that overachieved last year but is underachieving to the spread this year, UTEP, do you worry at all? Like a squad that hasn't covered a spread yet, is that, in your mind, bet on or bet against? Do they have value, or is this just a team the markets aren't catching up with? They're just no good.
I think in UTEP's case, they're catching up because this is a pretty big number. But UTEP was clearly overrated to start the season based on what they did last year. And it showed in the North Texas game because North Texas isn't very good. I don't know if the line's caught up yet. this should be a 3-touchdown win for Boise. They should be able to shut down UTEP, and UTEP can't stop me.
Dave Cokin.
There,
Dave, let's not just like fade it out. I want to talk this UNLV Utah State game.
Yeah.
So I speak to a lot of people throughout the week, Dave, and this is one of those games where Joe and Steve love Utah and Mike and Stan love UNLV. Really split. How are you betting this one?
Well, it wasn't split based on the early number because the money poured in on UNLV and they went to the favorite rule in this game. And I agree with it. I think this is a UNLV we haven't seen in a long time. The Idaho State game you can throw out because Idaho State can't play at all. But they were pretty good against Cal, which is, I'm not saying Cal's a great team, but they are a Pac-12 Power 5 conference team. And they were just dynamite in the second half last week against North Texas. Brumfield is a legit quarterback. This kid can play. He looked good last year until he got hurt, and then he couldn't get back on the field. But he's good. And UNLV right now is a go-with team. I think they can win their division in the Mountain West. This is a big game for them. Utah State was one of the luckiest teams I've ever seen. Honest to God, one of the luckiest teams I've ever seen last year. It's like, how is this team winning these games? Reality setting in this year. They're not very good. UNLV is the better team here. Now, the pressure is on UNLV. I can't recall the last time that UNLV was in kind of a big game setting and on the road as a favorite. But if I'm betting the game, I'm going to take the Rebels. They're go-with right now.
How bad is Utah State? They got wiped out at Alabama, and then they had the awful game against Weber State. Against UConn in the opener, there wasn't a physical mismatch in that game, and that certainly stood out to me because it made me think UConn was a little bit better than they were. But they weren't.
Utah State basically had one really good 10-minute stretch in that game in the second quarter, and that's it. Connecticut outplayed the rest of the game. That's not a team I want to be on. So I think UNLV is a better team here. So,
Dave, before we get into the NFL game, what do you got to promote for the clients this coming up for this weekend?
Well, I released a 5% play on Sunday night for Saturday. Left it up for a little while on Monday morning. I knew the line was going to explode in the game because I thought the opening number was short. So about 11 o'clock on Monday morning, we pulled the package. The All Access guys, the only ones who got it, basically. There's that. I've got 5 college plays altogether. I've got 2 NFL plays. I'm going to add a third, but I'm waiting to see if I can get a half point better as we get closer to game time. NFL's off to a real good start, by the way. And that's what I got. So, get an all access package. And I am going to be putting up I'm probably going to put it up today. I'm going to put up a 5% over and under NHL points prop. I've never lost one. I've only had 3 points props in baseball and hockey combined, but all 3 have been really easy winners. Golden Knights under last year, Texas Rangers under in 2021, Oakland Quad A's under this year. This is going to be an over. I like this team a lot more than the general public, and I'm going to bet an over, and it'll be up later today. 5%. You're going to have to pay a regular price on it. Sorry, but it's grab it.
Dude, I can't wait to see it. Okay, Commodores. That's what I call them, Teddy.
Commies. Just call them the commies.
The NFL presidential address is up, and I refer to them as the Commodores throughout the entire show. Okay, they're playing the Eagles, and Dave, Teddy and I spoke on Monday. We think the Eagles are 3rd or 4th best team in all of football. One of my rules in betting the NFL, and guys, Teddy and I are doing a show which we'll talk about later, and we're going to talk about this more in depth during the show. I don't take favorites over a field goal in the NFC East. So I can't play Philadelphia, but I don't want to play against them. What are you doing here?
I'll give you this is value handicapping. The deal in value handicapping is when you win, you're a genius. It's like, see, when you lose, you have to accept the fact that people are going to think you are a stupid asshole. And
Yeah,
this is a perfect example of that. The look ahead, Teddy, I think the look ahead was 3 on this game, if I'm not mistaken. Eagles 3.
Yes. Correct.
6.5 now. I don't think it'll get to 7. Never know. But right there, you don't want to take 3.5 points, the worst of it, as far as that goes, because it's an overreaction to what we just saw. And in the NFL, I think it applies more in that league than any other league. Overreaction city. The Eagles were absolutely great on Monday. The commies, and by the way, I stole that from Kelly. I know they're the Commanders, whatever, but she wrote commies, referring to them on Twitter. And it's like, I like that. So I'm calling them the commies now. They weren't very good last week. They really weren't very good in their opening week, even though they won. So you know what the public's going to do here. And if this loses, all the trolls will be out saying you are an absolute idiot. Okay, I'll accept that. I am still of that school that believes if you can get, unless you think the odds makers were completely wrong, if you're getting 3.5 points, the best of it, well, one weekend, grab it. Give me the commies plus the 6.5.
So we saw Philadelphia's defense play well for a half against the Lions, and then the second half wasn't as good. We saw them dominate. Yeah, we saw them. So they played well early. They certainly dominated last week against Minnesota. And now they're going up against, shall we call him, a mistake-prone Carson Wentz. You know,
nice
Wentz is pretty good at putting up big numbers when his team's down 3 touchdowns and they're trying to come through the back door. But do you trust Wentz against a defense of this caliber?
No, I mean, if I'm just analyzing the game, Philadelphia, you want to kill him.
Yeah.
But that's not the way you bet the NFL. That's just, unless you're talking about the Patriots in their heyday, when it didn't matter if they could make the number 40 and they'd cover it. But that was an outlier. The way to handicap the NFL is still go for the value.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that on this game. The value is with Washington. Now, if you don't believe in that, that's fine. Go bet the Eagles, and you might very well cash a winning ticket, because value capping doesn't win 100% of the time, doesn't even win 60% of the time, but it wins more than it loses, and that's the bottom line. And I am taking the Washington. I'm taking the Washington side. I'll hold my nose and grab the 6.5.
Dave Cokin, everyone. Teddy, Carson Wentz is not mistake prone. He plays for, as Dave calls them, the commies. He likes to share the ball equally.
I can't take credit for Kelly. Kelly deserves the credit for that.
Dave,
I'm not
you
stealing
jumped in right on the punchline. Like literally on the punchline. Anyway, I'll try it again.
Good.
He plays for the commies. He likes to share the ball equally. That is not a terrible joke given 30 seconds to prepare. Dave Cokin, you've promoted, you've killed it, you're awesome, we love you, get out of here.
All right.
Dan, good work in the background there, Dan. I want to shout out to everybody in our chat room, DT, Darren, Steve, Jessica, Emmanuel, Big Daddy, we love you, Dane, Javier. We got a big show still coming up. Teddy's Big Game Breakdown, Ralph Michaels, Kelly Stewart. I just want to say real quick, everybody, the NFL presidential address is up. You can find it at the WagerTalk channel, WagerTalk TV, our YouTube channel. If you guys have not subscribed to our channel, please do so. Also, like the show as well. We get to 100 likes. I got 3 NFL bets for you all. Teddy, get your chops ready. We'll be right back.
Ready to take your favorite WagerTalk handicappers wherever you travel this football season? The WagerTalk TV app is now live for phones, tablets, smart TVs, and streaming platforms. Tune into your favorite shows like WagerTalk Today, Bet on It, and the Opening Line Report, plus browse through our extensive library of sports betting tips. Create your personal playlist of betting tip videos to help you prepare for the upcoming season, and set notifications to alert you when new content is added. Download the app for Apple, Android, Amazon, and Roku devices by searching for WagerTalk TV, or scan the QR code on your screen to join the winning conversation today.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk some early start college football on Saturday. National TV action, Michigan and Maryland. Right now, looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, I'm seeing the Wolverines pretty much painted -17 across the board. Total sitting, let's call it 64.5 between Michigan and Maryland. And look, I understand it's hard to trust the Terps in this spot. Maryland has played 9 top 20 teams in the Mike Locksley era. They are 0-9 straight up, 0-9 against the spread. It has not been pretty for them stepping up in class. And look, they beat SMU last week. I watched the whole game. Locksley's defense got gashed start to finish. They forced 1 punt for the entire game. They had more penalties than first downs against SMU. And SMU just kept turning it over and failing the red zone. But they did move the ball up and down the field, just like Michigan did last year against Maryland when they won 59-18. All that being said, we're absolutely going to look at the Maryland side plus the points in this ball game. Look, all right, the quarterback officially known as Two Kid's brother is a monster. 77% completions, over 10 yards per pass attempt. All right, they've got some playmakers. All the top 3 backs are all averaging 8 yards per carry or better, and they've done it. Look, I understand Buffalo, Charlotte, and SMU are not Michigan. I understand they've struggled in some of these step-up games, many of these step-up games, obviously. But this year feels different. And Michigan, all right, all big, mighty Michigan. No team in the country has faced less talent than Michigan this season. Colorado State, Hawaii, UConn. Make an argument they're all bottom 5 team, the weakest strength of schedule in the country. I know that you can only play the teams in front of you on your schedule. But Michigan right now is a little bit of an overvalued commodity. I would not be surprised at all to see Maryland hang around in this game for a long, long time. And if they don't hang around, they're live to come through the back door. Give me the Terps, contrarian play, Maryland plus 17. There's your big game breakdown. Back to you, Mr. Prez.
And guys, keep in mind, Teddy's alma mater is the blue and yellow, so add an extra unit for the
Blue
fact
and
that he
yellow?
wants to bet.
Prez, please. If you're going to say maize and blue, dude, not blue and yellow. If you're going to try to do that sort of,
Oh,
it's
my
one of those
God.
things.
Now
It
we're
sounds
getting
like you
into
don't know what
freaking
you're talking
shades
about
on
when
this
you
show.
say
You're
blue
right,
and yellow.
Teddy. You are right. Michigan
I
does
know.
not have the color blue in their uniform. I understand it's not blue. Okay? Are we done?
I'm
Oh,
trying to make you
oh
not
my-
sound stupid.
Yeah,
Okay.
because
If you
it's
call them
not
the blue and yellow, you sound stupid.
Oh, yeah. Okay. There you go. Okay. I sound stupid, everybody. Anyway, Teddy, you and I are doing a show where you're going to make me sound stupid for 45 minutes. And I want to say something
so
about
looking
this
forward to
before
it.
you get into the show. Have I frozen?
Yes, you have.
Yeah.
So I'll talk about
now
the
I'm
show.
back.
Obviously, cover it with Teddy Covers each and every weekend on SiriusXM channel 159, the Sports Grid Radio Network. We do a college football show on Saturday. We do an NFL show on Sunday. And, of course, Prez will be my NFL guest this week on Cover It. Of course, you can download the podcast versions as well. Just go to my Twitter page at Teddy_Covers. Lawrence, I promote the show.
What I wanted to say about that show, guys, every day you hear Wager Talk Today, and I step back, minus the fact that I think Michigan has the color blue in their uniform. I step back, I let everybody do their thing. Teddy asks the follow-ups. Teddy has his big game breakdown. Teddy is the Mac Daddy. We are reversing roles for this show, and Teddy is actually going to host, and I will provide the analysis, thoughts, and in-depth arguments. So check that out. If you like the two of us and you want to see a role reversal, check that out. Ralph Michaels joining us. Ralph, always a pleasure, man. I know your shirt is not burgundy. It's more of a mauvey, maroon, if you will. So I don't want to start by, arguing colors here. How are you, man? How you been?
Oh, good. I mean, if Teddy was going to talk Michigan with blue and yellow, I was going to talk Ohio State with red and gray. So
red and gray,
all
it's
good.
Garou.
I do want to mention, guys, one of the biggest weekends I've had since coming to WagerTalk. For only the second time in 5 years, I have a 5% play on both Saturday and Sunday. And look how much I want you to be on this package. Get a 3-day all access, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday for $39. Use code RM. That's like basically playing for 5% and getting the entire weekend. You could sign up now. You'll get all of Saturday's plays today as soon as you sign up, including that 5% in college football.
There we go. Ralph Michaels. He doesn't need to be asked to promote. He literally is Mr. Promoter. Him and Steve Merrill. Steve Merrill wins, though. Steve Merrill, I mean, that guy comes on the show with 6 different promotions every day. Okay, Ralph, Iowa Rutgers. This is a historically low total. This total would be historically low in the NFL. I've seen some 33s, but this is a low total. How are we betting this game?
I am not betting this game, guys. I just wanted to do some information providing, a little TNA for our viewers. Prez and Teddy, we've always talked about high totals and low totals and why they're high and why they're low. So I just want to give you some numbers. In college football since 2011, there have only been 25 totals of 37.5 or less when an FBS team is playing an FBS team. Those totals of 37.5 or less, 4 overs and 20 unders, 1 push. That is 83.3% to the under with these low totals. So the reason Iowa and Rutgers is 34.5 or 34 at some places, don't be too quick to bet the over if you think that's some fruit picking. So again, I'm not saying to bet the under in this game. I just wanted to share that information because we often want to quantify high total and low total and what it does mean and when you're betting them.
And Ralph, it's funny because Teddy and I talk about this all the time on WagerTalk Today. Just take those low totals under, take the highest totals over. And I mean, you just come on and really prove that point. Thank you for that. Okay, New Mexico State.
Prez, I'm going to go to the pen for 2 more things and didn't mean to interrupt you, but there are 2 numbers I want to quantify that Teddy and Dave and you talked about earlier. So the first, Teddy, you talked about teams in game number 5 that have yet to cover a game. So this is game 5 in college football since 2007 that are playing in their 5th game, and they failed to cover all 4 games. They're 0-4 ATS. Those teams have gone 65, 42, and 2, 60.7%. So not a reason to, but it does show that you start getting some more value with those teams that have gone an entire month without winning. The second number I want to bring you a little extra TNA. This shocked the hell out of me. But you and Dave were talking about, and Prez were talking about teams off Monday night and the adjustments Philadelphia made with that overnight line, with the early line. Since 2017, when a team is off a Monday night game, they win that game and they cover by at least 10 points. So they're off a convincing win and they're playing the next Sunday. They've actually gone 18-9, 67%. That applies to both the Bills and the Eagles this week. So small sample size, but something where if you're off a Monday night huge win and you cover by 10 or more, you have done very well the following Sunday.
The momentum has carried forward on those games. I want to go back to Rutgers, Iowa for just a moment. It's definitely worth noting. I went back looking at the series history for that series. Last time they met, 30 combined points. The time before, 21 combined points. Those are the only 2 recent meetings. However, the totals in those games, 56.5 and 48. Wow. So the markets have clearly made an adjustment for both Iowa and Rutgers. That says I can't see how either team scores more than a touchdown in that game. I would only play the under in that particular Big Ten matchup. Now, when it comes to the other game that you were talking about, and now I can't find, of course, which one it was. I apologize. but it's hard to. When you talk about
UTEP
we
was
have
the
talked about
0-4
New Mexico State
team.
and Hawaii. Go, keep going. I'll shut up.
All right.
Yeah, we're right. We got tons still to talk about, Ralph. So let's get into New Mexico State and Hawaii. Go.
You got it. A clear fade on Hawaii for me. Hawaii went to Michigan, got mauled, came home against Duquesne. They won that game. They got outgained by 180 yards. When college football teams were outgained by 120 yards or more, and they won the game, and now they're an away dog, 17-38, only 31% against the spread. That applies to this Hawaii team and to Bowling Green as well. But New Mexico State has been mauled against very physical teams, Minnesota and Wisconsin. But you look against UTEP, they had a yardage edge. You look against Nevada, they had a 46-yard edge. Yeah, I'm not one that wants to lay points with New Mexico State as an 0-4 team, but with Jerry Kill there as a first-year head coach, and there's still positive quotes saying that they're playing hard despite a horrible quarterback. Actually, both quarterbacks, all four quarterbacks combined for this Hawaii team and New Mexico State team, they have a 1-in-15 touchdown to interception ratio. So, yes, I understand New Mexico State's an ugly team, but I like what they're doing in their first year, Jerry Kill. They are learning to run the ball and have had some success. And this Hawaii team, one of the worst in my power ratings out of all 131 teams.
Can you make money in college football laying more than a field goal with teams like New Mexico State? Bottom feeders. Are they good favorites?
It's not the formula I normally use, Teddy, but there's also times, if this were a third-year head coach and they were in this situation and they had improving success, then no, I'm not going to lay that many points with a very bad team that's winless on the year. But I have a different mentality when it is the first year of a head coach or a second year when I see that improvement. And I'll be talking about second-year head coaches in a minute.
Ralph Michaels. Ralph, we love having you on the show, dude. I would do a Ralph Michaels show all day long. Kansas against Duke. We spoke about this game on Wednesday. I'm curious on your take.
Would you lay 7 points with a team that in the prior two seasons went 2-19? Well, again, same situation with a different head coach. I am totally impressed with this Kansas team. It is not a fluke. Lance Leopold was a master at Wisconsin Whitewater. He turned the Buffalo Bulls around. And remember, Kansas last season, they beat Texas, and then they covered each of their final three games. And now covering these games, scoring 50-plus points per game in 2 of 3 and averaging over 50. But why am I not afraid to take them? Well, now that James Daniels had some experience last year, he's now running the ball. He didn't run the ball last time. He was a timid pocket passer. Lance Leopold in his second season has said, okay, you can start running. He's the leading rusher on the team, 27 carries for 237 yards, a 7-1 ratio. And you look at what Duke's played the number 160 schedule. When you look at Sagarin's numbers, it includes the FBS and FCS. Yeah, there's only 131 FBS teams. And that's how far Duke is down. Duke's second road game, their first at Northwestern, they got outgained by 50 yards. This Kansas Jayhawk can dominate the line of scrimmage. They have 9 sacks on defense. They have yet to allow a sack on offense, and they're averaging over 7 yards per carry. I do believe this KU team is for real.
Teddy?
So real quick, Ralph, I know we got to get to Kelly, but I do want to ask you, I feel like Duke's being overlooked completely. It's like Kansas is getting all this hype, and here's a 3-0 Duke team that they got outgained by Northwestern because they blew them out early, and the rest of the game was garbage time. And it was just, all right, you can get all the yards you want. The Temple team that they destroyed gave Rutgers everything they could handle last week. That 161st ranked strength of schedule, I don't agree with that assessment. Is Duke being overlooked completely in this matchup because all anyone's talking about is the Kansas Jayhawks?
Yeah, give Duke the credit it deserves. You still have a first-year head coach now traveling, for a second game after a warm-up game. Obviously, I don't think they are underrated. My power ratings have Kansas 6 points better and then giving them the home edge. I find there's value. Then the situation I looked at, another stat I'll just throw out. When teams win as a dog, like Kansas has their last 2 games, and they're a home favorite up to 8 points, They've gone 77%, only a sample size of about 28 games since 2012. So my play is more on Kansas. I give Duke the credit they deserve, I believe, because I'm actually laying 7 with the Jayhawks.
Ralph Michaels, everyone. Ralph's promoted his stuff. He's got a massive discounted 3-day all-access package up over on his page at WagerTalk.com. Ralph, a real pleasure to have you with us, brother.
Thanks,
Teddy,
guys.
we're going to
Appreciate it.
run this show. We're going to run this show 5 minutes longer than normal. Kelly Stewart joining us, and I'm not cutting her off. Hey, Kel, right off the bat, you were nodding your head. You agree with Teddy's assessment on this Duke team.
Listen, I love Ralph. Teddy's so kind enough to share his numbers with me, Ralph, a couple other guys. So I don't ever want to discredit anybody's numbers because they spend a ton of time on this. But has Ralph Michaels ever been to Memorial Stadium? Home field advantage. They're on campus today begging kids to come to this game.